Welcome to Health Epidemiology for Spring 2017. I am Jim Daniel, one of your instructors. Rosa Ergis is your other instructor. This is just a video introduction to the course for the first week so you can learn where all the materials are and start to get ready for the course. So I'm just on the home page for the course. If you click on announcements, you're probably familiar with that. For your other courses, you'll find any general announcements for the week. In course introduction, you'll find some very important materials. The syllabus is here, which has a Word document that has all of the requirements for the course. If you just click that, it will download and you can open it up in Word and you can see all the requirements for the class, what counts. Class participation is 10%, homework 15%, quizzes 10%, midterm 25%, a writing assignment is 15%, and the final exam is 25%. So a little bit about each of these. We'll go into more detail later. Class participation is very important for this course. I know not everyone can attend the live webinars that we have scheduled, but there are other ways with blogs and discussion threads that you can get class participation. So it's easy to get 100 for your class participation. Some weeks there will be required homework that you have to turn in. All of the required homeworks will be graded and will count 15% of your grade. Some weeks the homeworks are optional. You don't have to turn them in, but we still encourage you to do them. Quizzes are weekly, but you don't have to actually submit them. Well, you should do them weekly, but you can do them as many times as you would like until you get the right answers, until you're scoring 100%. So because of that, we don't put a due date on any of the quizzes. They're not due until the actual end of the semester. The midterm is the first part of the course, the first 7 weeks. It is very extensive. It takes a lot of time. It will be posted several weeks ahead of time. I encourage you to start it early. There's a midterm practice that you'll hear me say over and over again that you should do, so please listen to me when I talk about that. And then the writing assignment and final exam are part of the second half of the semester after the midterm, so you'll hear more about those later. Let's go back to the course information, the course introduction folder. There's another important item in here, the weekly schedule. So here you'll see everything that is due on a week-by-week basis. So you'll see the homework that's due. If there's a discussion thread, you'll see all the things that are due that week. And don't forget that there are quizzes every week, but they're not actually due until the end of the semester because you can keep updating them until the end of the semester. There is a recorded webinar on how to actually watch a recorded webinar. So if you click on that, you can follow the steps on how to watch recorded webinars. Again, not everyone can watch the live webinars that we have every week, but you may want to go back and watch the recorded webinar instead. Or even if you attend the live webinar, you might want to go back and watch the recorded session. So let's just take a look at a couple of our weeks. Week 1 is just an introduction to the course structure. That's the week we're in right now. There's a video introduction to the course. You'll see, which is this, you'll see the tasks for the week, things that we want you to do. This week there is a required homework, which is posting in the intro to EPI discussion thread an introduction of yourself. And then you can also reply to other students' posts. And replying to other students' posts is a great way to get participation points. The intro to EPI, introduce yourself discussion thread link is right down there for you for your convenience. Let's look at week 2 as well. Week 2 is more like most of the other weeks. There is required reading. This is another week that has required homework. This one is a blog posting about a current event in public health or epidemiology. Really think about the one that you choose, because you're going to be updating and commenting on this throughout the semester. So find a news article or a journal article that's of interest to you about public health or epidemiology and summarize that in your blog post. And you can include a link to the article for others to reference as well. There will be every week lecture content. If you go into that lecture content, you can see that there is a recorded lecture. But then every week we're also going to have a live webinar. So you want to make sure that you attend or listen to the live webinar or recorded webinar. Some weeks we'll actually have YouTube videos as well. If we go into week 3 and look at the lecture content, for example, we've actually got some YouTube videos in addition to the measures of disease frequency. So let's talk a little bit about the live webinars. So for those, you just go into Blackboard Collaborate, and there'll be a listing of the scheduled sessions. And you can also click on the recordings to get recordings. You want to make sure when you do when you're looking for recordings that you change the dates for the dates that you want to look for. All right, now that we understand the weekly structure, let's talk a little bit about how you can get class participation points. In the class participation folder, you're going to see an assignment that you're going to turn in along with the midterm for your participation for the first half of the semester. But every week you're going to want to update that with your current week's participation. So you want to, at the beginning of the semester, download a copy of this class participation template just by clicking on it, and then just save it to your computer. Do a file, save as, and save it to your computer so that you can update it on a weekly basis. And here, every week, you can go in and assign yourself points for if you watched the recorded webinar or videos, if you attended a live webinar, if you were actively engaged in the live webinar. So you can go in here and get points for all of your activities. You can get points for updating your current activities blog on a weekly basis. There we would want you, for example, to update your current activities blog about whatever that topic is for the week. You can comment on other people's blogs each week too, so that it becomes a learning experience where you're applying everything from each week back to that blog that you wrote in the first week. Then if you actually have questions about the course Q&A is the best place to do that. You can just click on this first link and get to a discussion thread. You can just create a thread here, put in your question, and we'll come in and answer it as instructors. But we also want you guys as students to come in and help answer other students' questions as well. And again, that's a way that you can get additional participation points. So multiple ways to get participation points. Commenting on blogs on a weekly basis, posting thoughtful discussion questions in the course Q&A, helping answer other students' questions. So lots of ways to get your participation points. And you'll see when you look at the template that there are ways to score well over 100, but 100 is the maximum class participation grade for the first half of the semester. So again, every week you're going to go in and you'll see it's basically the same structure. There's going to be the task for the week, the required reading, the lecture content, which is just the lecture content or recording that you'll want to watch, the homework. But then also don't forget there will be that live webinar every week that you should be attending as well. The midterm goes up through the first 6 weeks. Week 7, we'll just do a midterm review, and then your midterm review will be after that. And then starting with week 8, things will switch gears a little bit. A lot of the first half of the semester is more math. The second half of the semester is a little bit more methodology, and Rosa will be taking over for that second half of the semester. I will be hiding the second half of the semester and the midterm folder after I've recorded this, so don't worry about not being able to see those. We'll open those back up as you need them. Right, so welcome again, good luck, and we'll see you that first week during week 2. We'll have a recorded webinar that week, and don't forget that schedule of weekly events and the course introduction is the best way to go in and find out when our weekly webinars and office hours are, and when anything is due. We'll be scheduling 1 webinar per week and 1 office hour per week. I'm recording this a little bit early, so I don't have the exact dates, but you'll see those on the weekly schedule. All right, thanks everyone, and good luck. And we'll see you in week 2 in the webinar, or at some point during the semester, hopefully. Thanks.